Relax now, boys. We're talking Jake Paul versus Mike Platinum Perry. Of course, this is a boxing match. This is not a bare knuckle boxing match or an MMA fight at that. That's very important to understand because the rules or the type of fight that's taking place when you throw Jake Paul and Mike Perry into a cage or a ring has a significant impact on the way that fight's going to play out, okay? Stick with me through this video, guys. I'm going to hand you a free play, a value-free play. You guys will like the line. It's a play that I really feel is a solid target, okay? So we will throw a free play towards your guys' way in regards to the very fun matchup that is set to take place this upcoming Saturday on the 20th. It's technically competing with UFC Vegas 94, although by the time this match is set to kick off, I do believe the UFC would have already been wrapped up. It'll play out a little bit closely, but you could say they're competing, but I don't know about that. But that's also important to note because we will have the fight companion running from the UFC event, and hopefully we could just roll that right into this. And if they do overlap, we have multiple screens here. So we'll have the Perry versus Paul fight going on over here. We'll have the UFC fights going on over there, and I'll give you guys my reaction to both of them, all right? I'll be watching the fights kind of like Verna Jandiroba. I'll have one eye facing that way, one eye facing this way, and we'll be watching both fights. Now we'll jump into the fight in just 1 second, but if you can, please like this video and subscribe to the channel if you guys are not already subscribed. And if you're tuning in and you're checking on me periodically and you haven't hit that sub button, it would mean a lot to me if you guys could just do that real quick. And also just know we are powered by BETUS. Sign up to BETUS. I got a link in the description of this video. Sign up through that link. You will get a 125% match on your first 3 deposits, and I will give you guys an additional gift. Don't forget to let me know.
The teller.
We'll jump right into this fight right now. Jake Paul has been on an absolute tear in the boxing ring. People are starting to really wake up and give him the respect that he deserves now. Even the Nate Diaz match that he won, 3 fights ago, he didn't really get too much respect for the performance at the time. But when you look at what Nate Diaz just did against Jorge Masvidal in that fight with the volume and pace that he pushed, I think that W looks better than ever. And then after that win, Jake Paul goes out there and starches 2 dudes in the first round in Andre August and Ryan Berland. Okay, so I mean, whether or not you're extremely high on the level of opponent there, still break down the tape, go rewatch those fights. They're all on YouTube. Jake Paul really looks the part at this point in time, man. He lives off that jab. He has serious power, and I think that he's a legitimate up-and-coming boxer. I really do. So some of you guys may think I'm crazy, but if you're still sitting around or you're hanging on that horse saying that he's just a complete gimmick, I think you're off there, and eventually you're going to have to come around. I'm not saying that Jake Paul is going to be the next champion of the world, but I mean, he's really going to settle in as a very legitimate boxing up prospect, or a legitimate boxer at that. As he's hitting his 30s, I think this dude's going to be a legitimate pro. On the other hand, you have the extremely tough Mike Perry. And as far as toughness goes, I mean, I don't know who you want to put above Mike Perry in the fight game right now. I think he's living up on Mount Rushmore when you're talking toughness. And we already knew that back from his UFC days. If you guys remember when his nose was hanging off his face against Vicente Luque and he just continued to march forward. Now, he wasn't always the most technical fighter over in the UFC, but this dude was always a stud when it came to his toughness and how he was willing to put on a show for us, always willing to engage in a fight. I mean, this guy is going to bring those skills into the boxing ring. But you guys know when you're talking boxing, it's a little bit of a different type of fight. And not even just in regards to MMA, but when you're talking about a bare knuckle fight is very different than a boxing match. You're not able to cover up and shell up with the gloves, and it's very hard to hide in a bare knuckle fight at that, right? It's very hard to hide in there, man. You don't have huge gloves to hide beyond. Also, the ring is a little bit smaller, and you could just find your opponent, and you're almost fighting in a phone booth until somebody drops to an extent. And this isn't going to be that type of fight. I think it's going to be harder for Mike Perry to find Jake Paul. Now, note, there is a difference in boxing experience here. Mike Perry is just going into his second professional boxing match. He had a boxing match way back in 2015 against Kenneth McNeil, and he was knocked out in the 4th round. You could actually say he's had 2 boxing matches if you want to include the Michael Seals victory that he has. That was a great fight. It was a split decision victory for him. It was like a hybrid fight. They had those, they weren't boxing gloves. They were kind of like, it wasn't a bare knuckle fight. It wasn't a boxing match. It was almost like an in-between. The gloves almost looked like those, remember those karate gloves that you used to get your hands on when you were a kid somehow, and you would wreak havoc in the house, beating up the cousins and whatnot. They were like those little padded gloves. He was using something similar to that. And I thought he looked pretty good in that match there. And Michael Seals isn't necessarily a complete pushover. Since that loss, Seals has been on a run. I don't think he's lost a fight since that loss there, and that was a close one. After that, though, Mike Perry goes on a 5-fight winning streak, defeating Julian Lane, Michael Page, Luke Rockhold, Eddie Alvarez, and Thiago Alves. A lot of respectable names there. Now, we're talking bare knuckle boxing matches. Of course, you guys know that, but we're talking bare knuckle boxing matches. And Mike Perry has looked very, very good in the ring with no gloves on. I mean, this guy's a savage. The way he eats shots, the way he continues to march forward. I mean, this guy is he's something else. And I do believe he could use some of those tools and skills in the boxing ring. But to what extent, I don't think you'll have as much success as maybe some of you guys do feel that he's going to have. I'll cut to the chase here. I think that Jake Paul is going to be the superior boxer on the night. Jake Paul has impressed me quite a bit. Just rewatching some of his tape, and this dude has a very, very sharp and crisp jab, big time power. He's just a way more technical boxer, and it's kind of hard for me to see Mike Perry beating him round to round. That I feel very confident in saying. I'd be very shocked if Mike Perry goes out there and wins a decision. If you want to say maybe Mike Perry can somehow close the distance and use that power and crack him with a shot earlier on in the fight, okay, maybe there's that possibility, but round to round to round, I have a very hard time seeing Mike Perry outbox Jake Paul. When you're talking about Paul going out there and getting the job done, you're talking about Paul going out there and getting a knockout for the most part. Out of his 9 victories, 6 of them have come by way of knockout. There's definitely some legitimate power there. But with that being said, I'm going to let you guys know I don't feel he's going to find the knockout on Mike Perry. This is an 8-round fight. We got 8 3-minute rounds set to take place. Mike Perry, we talked about earlier in this video how tough he is. I don't know if I mentioned enough about the chin that he has. This dude is an absolute horse. All right, you could whack him in the face with the bat, and this dude's going to continue to march forward. We've seen that in the bare knuckle boxing world. Now you're talking about putting gloves on, and I think that the durability of Mike Perry will hold up just fine. Okay, so that's something that I want you guys to know, because that's going to slide us right into the play that I'm going to give you guys. The free play that I'm giving for this fight is I like the over 6.5 rounds, which you can get on BETUS right now at -105. Okay, the over under basically set at 6.5 rounds. At that point, it's probably going to go the distance anyway. It's an 8-round fight, so you're talking about another another round and a half at that. And I think that this is going to go to the judges' scorecards, and I do believe that Jake Paul will be well ahead. Mike Perry may snag 1 or 2 rounds. I'm going to possibly give him 2 rounds. I'm going to predict that the scorecards will be, or they should accurately be. You never know what these judges are going to throw out there, but I'm going to say they should accurately be, I'm predicting it'll be 6-2 Paul. I'm going to say that Paul takes 6 rounds and Perry sneaks in 2 rounds where things get a little sloppy and he's aggressing, has a standout round or 2. But all in all, Paul will settle in and he will be the superior boxer. But the free play is the over 6.5 rounds. Let me know if you guys locked it in. And let me know if you cash that after it hopefully hits. I want to see you guys in the comment section. And this is going to be a fun fight. I don't know if you guys been paying attention to any of the build-up. I would love to get some feedback on that. Are you guys paying attention to this stuff? I was really getting a kick out of this. Mike Perry and Jake Paul were over at Dave & Buster's in Tampa, and they were doing a whole show there. I mean, it was intense to an extent. Mike Perry was staring through his soul, but they were joking around, having a good time. I thought it was comical. It was fun. And this is a boxing match that I'm actually excited for. I definitely will be tuned in, and I will be rooting on Mike Perry. Okay, there's no question about that. Okay, you guys know when I break down these fights, I try to give you guys my professional take on it. But I am a big time Perry fan. Big time BKFC fan, and Mike Perry's looking to be in great shape, man. He's bulked up. I don't know how what the drug testing is about, or how the drug testing is going on. Perry's looking bigger than ever, but I still don't believe that will help him technically enough to win this fight. All right, I'll be clear there. So
Michael Vick here at BetUS.com. Get it all. Huge bonuses, great odds, a race book, live in-game betting, and a casino. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
Give me some feedback in the comment section. I appreciate you guys as always. Like this video, subscribe. Catch me on my social media, guys. I'm on Instagram and Twitter, and I'm always having a blast over there. So the content is getting better and better, and it's right below me if you guys want to go give me a follow on those two platforms. And remember, we will be live for this boxing match. We'll be doing the fight companion. We'll be watching this and the UFC fights depending on how the time goes, but we got multiple screens out here and we will be watching it all. So come watch this fight with me. I would love to watch the fight with you guys, and I will see you guys this upcoming Saturday. Signing out. Teller.
The teller. The teller. The teller. The teller.